My dear brothers and sisters in Islam, from today, I want to take you on a little bit of a journey. But due to the sensitive nature of the subject matter, I need to take you through a series of doors. We have to go one step at a time. So I need you to keep up and not linger at any one given door for too long. Door number one. This life is about work. This life is about action. It's a time of doing, not a time of rest. The Prophet ﷺ has been reported by Imam Ahmad rahimahullah. He says, "In qamat as-sa'a wa biyadi ahadikum fasila fa in istata'a an la yaquma hatta yaghrisaha falyaf'al." If the hour draws near while you are holding a sapling, the sapling is the baby tree. During that time, it was the branch of a palm tree that could be planted into the ground and would grow. So if the hour draws near and in your hand is a sapling and you could plant it before the end overtakes you, then do so. You're staring your demise in the face, something left undone. How should you proceed? It's over, so throw it to the side. The Prophet ﷺ, he said, even till the very end, when you know you're on the way out, you complete what you're doing, you continue to work. Work in and of itself is something praiseworthy. Just the action. The Arabs, they have a little saying, colloquial, al-haraka baraka. Movement is blessing. Action brings about blessing. The Prophet ﷺ, he highlighted this, that work in and of itself is praiseworthy. Of course, that's within the realm of permissibility. People of faith are neither lazy nor inept. A person of faith, a believer, is not prone to laziness. Let's take it easy. Let's stop what we're doing. Let's take a long break. Let's take, etc., etc. They continue to work, whether they're seeking what they need to make their way in this world, learning, seeking education, skills, training, etc., or they're on the field working, seeking the provision of Allah to feed themselves and their loved ones, to provide, or they are engaged in some type of worship. They are busy, not prone to laziness. They don't find themselves incapable either, not inept. The Prophet ﷺ used to pray. There were numerous dua, supplications that he made, often teaching us perspective and the right words to frame that. Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min al-kasali wal-ajzi. Says, oh Allah, I seek refuge with you from laziness and incapacity. Laziness and incapacity. The opposite, of course, is to be active and to be capable. Meaning, oh Allah, make us active, make us capable. People of faith, we're diligent. We are diligent as believers in the things that we do. We don't just take short spurts with long rests and breaks in the middle. but we're consistent in action. The Prophet ﷺ, been reported by Imam Ahmed, he says, أَحَبُّ الْأَعْمَالِ إِلَى اللَّهِ عَزَّ وَجَلَّ أَدْوَمُهَا وَإِنْ قَلَّ. The best deeds, the most beloved deeds, actions to Allah are those done consistently, even if they are meager in amount. To continuously work, to continuously be in action. This is the reality of our lives. Living a life of work. And it's not something that is specific to the faithful, but it's the way of the world. It is the way of the world. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, يا أيها الإنسان إنك كادح إلى ربك كدحا فملاقيه. Surah Al-Inshiqaq, verse number 6. O mankind, indeed you are laboring toward your Lord. You are laboring. You are laboring toward your Lord with great exertion, and you will meet the results of your deeds. The deeds that you did. This verse reminds me of a parable. Perhaps you've heard. A man approaching the age of retirement. The man who's lived his life working at the age of retirement. He worked for a large construction company, building homes. After a long career, getting tired, worn out, the job's taken its toll, he approaches his boss and asks for early retirement. The boss agrees. Who's a top performer? It was a career, so he must have been good to have lasted that long. The boss agrees. You can have early retirement on one condition: that you build one more home for this company, and this will be your final project. So the man, he says, sure, I'll do one more home, and then you'll let me go. So he starts to work, and he's working fast because he wants to quit. He wants to rest. He wants to take a break. He starts to work fast, and he finishes the job in record time, quicker than he's ever done before. But in order to do that, he had to cut corners. He had to take shortcuts. He had to skip steps. He basically just threw it together. When he completed, he handed over the project to his boss, and he says, last project done, I'm ready for retirement. The boss turns and says to him, congratulations on early retirement. Here are the keys to that house as your retirement gift. Foundation's weak. The walls, they're not squared. I lived in a house in an apartment building for several years. Every wall was out of line. They didn't use the proper tools. They didn't take the time for proper measurement. So you're constantly in a state of worry. Is the building going to hold up or not? The man not focused on quality, just focused on the work. He left the house, the windows, they don't properly close. The doors don't properly close. The finishings are of poor quality, let alone the decoration inside. And this is where he has to live. Insulation is thin, roof is leaking. He has to live with those results. This was his retirement package. Expounding upon the previous verse, because this previous verse is all about the reality of this man. Ibn Kathir mentions the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam saying, قال جبريل يا محمد إيش ما شئت فإنك ميت. The angel Jibreel, he says to Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, live however you wish, for verily you will die. وَأَحْبِبْ مَا شِئْتَ فَإِنَّكَ مُفَارِقُ. Just love whatever you want, for indeed you will depart from that beloved. وَأَعْمَلْ مَا شِئْتَ فَإِنَّكَ مُلَاقِي. Do whatever you want. Act however you want, for indeed you will meet your deeds. You will have to live with your actions. Brothers and sisters, whether we are working for this life or striving for the next as faithful believers, not only must we be action-oriented people, action-oriented, not looking for rest and relaxation, not looking to be served all the time, but ready to serve. We must also have concern for quality. Concern for quality. Enter door number 2. The work we do must be quality driven. Not only is work important and praiseworthy in and of itself, but it must be quality driven. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he says, "Inna Allah azza wa jalla yuhibbu idha amila ahadukum amalan an yutqina." Reported by Imam al-Tabarani, he says, Allah loves that when you do a deed, you perfect it. Then when you do something, you do it to the best of your ability. Al-itqan. 100%. You strive for perfection. You strive for perfection in the actions, the deeds that you do. This is the definition of a believer. Allah loves perfection in action to the point that He prescribed it for us. The Prophet ﷺ was reported in Sahih Muslim to have said, "Inna Allah kataba al-ihsan ala kulli shay." Allah has prescribed ihsan, perfection in action for everything. He went on in the hadith, giving some details. He says, if you are to take life, then do it in the best way. You sharpen the blade if you're going to sacrifice an animal. You sharpen the blade so that you can be merciful and swift. Giving us an example of perfection indeed. When you're going to do something, you do it in the best of manners. Regardless if it's your paid job or a volunteer position. Sometimes we get confused. I'm getting paid, so I have to do my best. If you can do that, you're ahead of the game. If you have that attitude about your paid work, I'm getting paid, so I must do my best. I can't come late, I can't clock out early, I can't cut corners, you are ahead of the game. The same thing has to be said about volunteer work. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will compensate us based on quality of work, not based on quantity of work. If we are sincere and we do our best, Allah, the most merciful, will reward us in the best way. هَلْ جَزَاءُ الْإِحْسَانِ إِلَّا الْإِحْسَانِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Rahman, is the reward of good anything but good? الْجَزَاء مِنْ جِنْسِ الْعَمَلِ. The reward is based on the nature of the action. So if you do a good job, you will get a good reward. If you do a perfect job, you will get a perfect reward. And there is no reward more perfect than the reward with Allah subhanahu. If we approach what we do with a poor work ethic, we can understand the opposite of this verse. هَلْ جَزَاءُ الْإِسَاءَةِ إِلَّا الْإِسَاءَةِ. Is not the reward for poor quality and poor work ethic? Is not the reward for something bad anything but bad? Brothers and sisters, quality is of the utmost importance, regardless the deed, regardless the realm. For-profit, non-profit, getting paid or volunteered, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will measure us on our quality. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين من كل ذنب فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. بسم الله والحمد لله حمدا كثيرا طيبا مباركا فيه كما يحب ربنا ويرضاه. نصلي ونسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. Brothers and sisters, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created us in such a manner, He has given us the tools that we need to be top performers. We have been given what we need to be top performers. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Allahu alladhi ja'ala lakum al-arda qararan was-samaa'a binaa'a. It is Allah who has made for you the earth as a dwelling place and the sky as a canopy. وَصَوَّرَكُمْ فَأَحْسَنَ صُوَرَكُمْ. He has given you shape. He has created you and molded you in the best of ways. He has fashioned you, physically so, for top performance. Top performance. He's given you a mind. He's given you a mind for problem solving. It puts us at the top of the food chain. Our ability to think, critical thinking, problem solving, puts us as the masters of our domain. And then physically given us the proper tools, functioning limbs. We walk upright, we don't slither on our bellies. We have digits to grasp and to make tools. We have a physical structure that when it is optimized, we have optimized performance. وَرَزَقَكُم مِّنَ الطَّيِّبَاتِ ذَلِكُمُ اللَّهُ رَبُّكُمْ فَتَبَارَكَ اللَّهُ رَبُّ الْعَالَمِينَ. And we have provided you, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has provided for us with good things. Good things, fuel for the body. مِنَ الطَّيِّبَاتِ. Given us fuel for the body, the nice halal, tayyib food. To fuel and to strengthen the body. It's given us مِنَ الطَّيِّبَاتِ. Family, a wife, a husband. مِنَ الطَّيِّبَاتِ. To increase performance. This is Allah, your Lord. Blessed the Lord of the Alameen. Enter door number 3. We need to preserve our ability to perform. We understand action's important. We understand now quality of deed is important. But in order to maintain quality, we must preserve the ability to perform at high levels. We cannot abuse ourselves. In order to do our best, we need to be at our best. In order to do your best, you have to be your best you. What does that mean? To be top performers, the medium of action must be in optimum condition. Your mind, your body, and the human spirit, they must all be at the peak of performance if you want to achieve quality in deed and action. So in the following weeks, as we've just entered into this door, to discuss how to preserve the ability to be top performers, we're going to tackle very challenging issues. Issues that have not been touched upon in a very direct manner here. Topics like health. Topics like diet. Hygiene. finance and family life. All of these things are key factors to top performance. And we will proceed through these topics in light of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's words, إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُغَيِّرُ مَا بِقَوْمٍ حَتَّى يُغَيِّرُوا مَا بِأَنفُسِهِمْ وَإِذَا أَرَادَ اللَّهُ بِقَوْمٍ سُوءًا فَلَا مَرَدَّ لَهُ وَمَا لَهُ مِن دُونِهِ مِن وَالٍ. Indeed, Allah will not change the condition of a people until they change what is in themselves. Positive change is required. No one is exempt. And when Allah intends for a people ill, there is no repelling it. And there is not for them, besides Allah, any patron. So we ask that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us, bless our families and our offspring, to guide us to that which He loves and is pleased with, to bless us with good health, to free those that are burdened with the shackles of debt. وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين.